Okay. Our next storyteller is homegrown. We were requested that to make a space, so we did. And our next storyteller is going to be Liz Rogers.
So my first scholastic memory was being told by the teacher that I was so smart and that I needed to skip a grade. So after 2 weeks in kindergarten, they put me in first grade. The rest of the class started in kindergarten together and moved up. So there I am, the new kid. I'm short, still, young, immature, and surrounded by those E names. Susie, Darcy, Casey, Jenny, popular names for popular girls. I so wanted to be one of them. But I never quite got it. I was immature, lacked the social skills. Throughout grammar school, I lacked the social skills to join a club. I lacked the technical skills to join a team. I wasn't athletic enough to be a jock, and I wasn't good enough in school to be part of the nerd herd, because being smart and doing the homework, two totally different things. I just liked to read. I remember in third grade, they put a roster of all the students up on the wall, and every time you finished a book, you would make a little tick mark. Well, I was adding a tick mark every day, except for Mondays. Then it was 3. You'd win pizza or ice cream, and I thought it was something to be proud of. Look at all that I read. Until my oh-so-kind classmates informed me the reason I was reading so much is because I had no friends and I had nothing else to do. They weren't wrong. Both of my parents worked, and my older brother and older sister didn't seem to have the social issues that I did. So I walked home by myself after school from the time I was a little kid. They called us latchkey kids at the time. And I remember the feel of that cold key bouncing on the chain as I would walk home as fast as I could, with my shoulders hunched and my head down. If I had a hood on, it was even better. Anything to avoid making eye contact with any of the neighborhood kids, because that would just give them another opportunity to tease and scare me. I would rush home, pick up whatever book I was reading, curl up in my favorite chair, and spend a couple of hours that way until somebody else got home. I hated when the phone would ring, because more often than not, it was a prank call telling me I had made the cheerleading squad, or about some boy who really liked me but was just too shy to tell me at school. For somebody being so smart, I fell for it every time. If somebody mentioned my weight, I wouldn't eat for 3 days. If they mentioned my clothes, I would beg my mother to take me shopping. And I would wait for one of those e-girls to go by, and then I would follow her around the mall, hiding behind the racks of clothing or the mannequins, so I could pick out exactly what they picked out. On them, it looked great. I never quite got it right. I'd pair it with the wrong shoes, or I didn't know how to accessorize or roll the sleeve just right, or most likely it just looked like I was trying too hard. Reporting the teasing to my teachers didn't do any good. I remember there was one time I wrote my teacher a letter, and I explained what everybody had been doing, and I listed the worst culprits. One of the popular boys took the letter from the teacher's desk and shared it with the rest of the clique. And instead of feeling ashamed or embarrassed about what they had done to me, they added extra names because everybody wanted to be part of the I Hate Liz club. When I finally got up the nerve to write the teacher again, she read it and she looks at me and says, "What do you want me to do about it, Liz?" I wanted her to fix it. Or fix me, probably. As we got older, it got worse. Middle school-aged kids are a little more creative in their cruelty. There was the PE class with the mandatory square dancing class, And none of the boys would touch my arms during the do-si-dos. I was to be avoided. If there was a team project, I was paired with whoever wasn't there. At the time now, I think we're more aware of what verbal teasing and abuse does to a person. But I was raised in the time of sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Bullshit. I also heard, ignore it, it'll stop. And my personal favorite, they only tease you because they like you. What a horrible message to give to children, that it's okay. By the time 8th grade ran around, I stopped trying to fit in and started trying to blend in with the walls. The less attention I got, the better. I stopped raising my hand in class. I stopped trying to join clubs. I actually remember the last time I raised my hand. It was math class, and the teacher, Mr. Steinbeck, was having students take turns answering problems on the chalkboard. I made the mistake of raising my hand to volunteer right after he said, "Who wants to do 69?" I didn't get it. I didn't understand why the whole class started laughing and making fun of me again, because I was just doing what everybody else was. But I never raised my hand again. I made friends with people who weren't kind to me, who treated me terribly, just so I wouldn't have to eat lunch by myself. By the time high school came around, I was ignored. I'd like to think that we matured, but I think the truth is everybody was just so invested in their own life and I wasn't on the radar. I was never invited to anything, no parties. I wasn't asked to join the student council. I wasn't asked to join the dance team. And I was okay with being ignored. Well, I told myself I was. Of course it hurt my feelings when I would be skipped over, but I learned to hide that. It's a skill I still use very well to this day. But in high school, one of my electives was public speaking and debate. And it was about 3 or 4 classes in, and I realized I was good at something. I joined the competitive team, and within a couple of months, I was going to tournaments, and I was bringing home trophies. I was still ignored at school. But I spent my lunch hours in the speech and debate teacher's classroom with all of the other speechies. I had people to talk to, friends, my first real kiss, my first boyfriend. All of that came out of speech and debate. I still wasn't cool, even in this subsection of nerd, because I was going to tournaments to compete, not because we got to stay at a hotel with minimal parental supervision, and I wasn't the one sneaking in wine coolers or making out in the corners. One of the other kids on the team actually said to me, "Why did you sign up for that tournament? You know, it's local. You don't get to stay in a hotel." I wasn't noteworthy in my high school, but I started to get a name for myself at the other high schools. I would overhear other people being afraid because they were about to go up against me. If I did something unconventional, like wearing my fuzzy blue slippers between competitive rounds instead of my heels, there might have been a snide comment or two, but at the next tournament, 10 more kids would be wearing slippers. When we graduated from high school, we were sitting in the auditorium and we all look at our diplomas. Everybody around me wanted to know mine was different. Mine had seals on it, provided by the National Forensic League, the organization that oversaw competitive public speaking and debate in high school, and it was a testament to what I had accomplished over the last few years. A few years after high school, I was at a bar with some friends from college. I had friends. We were having a great time and we're laughing and we're having a wonderful time. And this young woman comes up to me, "Liz, Saratoga High?" Yeah? "It's me, Jenny." An E name. And she starts telling me about her life. And it was obvious to me and to my friends that she was looking for my approval. This was one of those popular girls, one of those girls I emulated. I wanted to be so badly. I had no idea who she was. None. So it turned out, after the dust settled on our high school career, I had more impact on her than she had on me. I'm still not popular. I'm still not cool. I don't get invited to a lot of parties. In fact, I will be the only member of a team that doesn't get invited. Most people I have fooled that I'm an extrovert because I'm involved in a lot of things. But the truth is that I keep myself ridiculously busy so that I don't feel like that lonely little girl sitting home on Saturday night. But between you and me, if I'm not working on a project, I'm still curled up in my favorite chair reading a book.